We want to determine the limits. First, we have the limit of 3 sine of the quantity 2x plus pi sine x as x approaches pi over 6. Since the sine function and the linear function are continuous over all real numbers, we can determine the limit by performing direct substitution. This is equal to 3 sine of the quantity 2 times pi over 6 plus pi times the sine of pi over 6. And now we begin simplifying. 2 times pi over 6 is 2/6 pi radians, which simplifies to 1/3 pi, or pi over 3. And then we have plus pi times the sine of pi over 6 radians, which is equal to 1/2. We can always check this on the unit circle or reference triangle. Looking at the unit circle, remember y is equal to sine theta. The terminal side of pi over 6 radians in standard position intersects the unit circle at this point. We'll notice how the y coordinate is 1/2. Sine pi over 6 is equal to 1/2. This gives us pi times 1/2. And now we simplify inside the parentheses. We have 1/3 pi, or pi over 3, plus 1/2 pi, or pi over 2. The least common denominator is going to be 6. We multiply the numerator and denominator of 1/3 by 2, and the numerator and denominator of 1/2 by 3. Now we have 2/6 pi plus 3/6 pi, which is equal to 5/6 pi. So now we have 3 sine 5/6 pi, or if we want 5 pi over 6. And now we need to find the sine of 5/6 pi radians. Going back to the unit circle, the terminal side of the angle in standard position intersects the unit circle at this point here. We'll notice how the y coordinate is 1/2. Sine 5/6 pi radians equals 1/2. Which gives us 3 times 1/2, which is equal to 3/2, if we want 1.5. Next, we have the limit of 5 cosine of the quantity 3x plus pi tangent x divided by 2 as x approaches pi over 4. The cosine and linear function are continuous over all real numbers, and the tangent function is continuous at and around pi over 4 radians, and therefore we can determine the limit by performing direct substitution. This is equal to 5 times cosine of the quantity 3 times pi over 4, if we want 1/4 pi, plus pi times the tangent of pi over 4, all divided by 2. And now let's begin simplifying. We have 5 cosine of, well, 3 times pi over 4 is 3/4 pi. And then we have plus pi times the tangent of pi over 4, which is equal to 1, all divided by 2. Let's go ahead and check this tangent function value on the unit circle. On the unit circle, tangent theta is equal to y divided by x. The terminal side of pi over 4 radians intersects the unit circle at this point on the unit circle. Notice how the x and y coordinates are equal, and therefore y divided by x is equal to 1. Simplifying inside the parentheses, we have 3/4 pi plus 1/2 pi. The least common denominator is 4. We multiply the numerator and denominator of 1/2 by 2. This gives us 3/4 pi plus 2/4 pi, which is equal to 5/4 pi. So now we have 5 times the cosine of 5/4 pi, or if we want 5 pi over 4. So now we go back to the unit circle and find the cosine of 5/4 pi radians. 5/4 pi radians intersects the unit circle at this point on the unit circle. Cosine theta is equal to x. Notice the x coordinate is negative square root 2 divided by 2, giving us 5 times negative square root 2 divided by 2, which is equal to negative 5 square root 2 divided by 2. I hope you found this helpful.